Prosperity is a herbal remedy that has been naturally designed to nourish the prostate gland. Prosperity uses a combination of leaves, roots, and barks to create a tincture designed to nourish your prostate gland. It also will assist in prostate-related issues such as erectile dysfunction, swollen prostates, and problems related to the passage of urine. Call or WhatsApp 728-8289, 728-8289 and get your bottle today. Prosperity. Blessed love, I am the Honorable Priest Isaac. I am an official priest within the realms of Rastafari of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. I also hold a certification in the craft of ARCHAEOASTRONOMY from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. Our universe and its makeup has always been an intriguing subject for humankind. Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Ancient astronomy is similar, but pays special attention to the physical and spiritual values of stars, planets, moons, and other celestial objects. It also brings in the terrestrial component, being things on an earthly plane, such as plants, human organs, and connects them to the heavenly bodies. In this course, you will learn the makeup of various planets and stars, how to locate them in the night sky, along with their associated constellations. You will also be taught about the earliest civilizations known for their astronomical comprehension, namely Kush, also known as Ancient Ethiopia, Kemet, called Egypt today, the Dogons, and the Bozos, as well as the civilization of Sumer. You will also learn about black holes, their nature and origin, as well as how the ancients viewed them. Ancient astronomy is the mother of archaeoastronomy and astrotheology. Both subject areas are covered by the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Sign up today. Visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email us, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com for more information. Oh, salam to each and everyone, my royal family. I pray that all is blessed. Give thanks for your presence with us. We definitely give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. I give thanks for the blessed evening. Of course, you know, this is another edition of the Tiger's Nest. We are broadcasting right here out of the realms of the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. This is priestisaacinstitute.com, the home of Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice. And of course, I'm your host. You know, you're definitely your humble host for this evening, the Honorable Priest Isaac. Once again, this is the Tiger's Nest. This is a program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And of course, at 7 p.m. sharp, cutting and clearing and moving all obstacles out of the way as we enter into this beautiful zone. And of course, if this is the first time you're joining us, I will definitely encourage you to share the link with a friend as well. and definitely let them know that I've found something new here. It's called the Tiger's Nest. If you're coming in for the first time, I welcome you for sure. You're going to have a wonderful sit down. And again, share the link. Each and every one, we are asking that you know, wherever you have the ability to share it, whatever platform you utilize, WhatsApp is a good space to share the link, what you say. Even your email links, it's a good space to share the link. Those of you who are on Facebook, share the link. Instagram, share the link. Wherever you share links, share the link for us, and we definitely will be happy for such a joy. Hey, of course, you know, this, again, the Tiger's Nest is a program that comes to you every evening, but for sure, if by chance you just happen not to catch each and every episode, we have a solution for that problem as well, because that's a big problem for sure. You don't want to be missing the Tiger's Nest, of course not. So for sure, family, if you need to make sure you never miss another episode of the Tiger's Nest again, all you got to do is become a member of the subscription team, and that is, you know, just as I said, it's done. You are a member, and for sure you'll be definitely getting the Tiger's Nest each and every day via your email. You'll get it in your inbox. Beautiful. Now this evening we're going to go straight into the reasoning, and of course this is going to be a mystic reasoning, scholarly reasoning. At the same time, it goes through with the meditation that is touching us even at this time here, which is physical, spiritual, and many different reasonings going on. Of course, those of you who are seated into Rasta Round Table, you would have seen the discussions that have been taking place, especially as it relates to the Ethiopian King's List, which is really where I want to touch upon again this evening here in the nest. But I want to link it directly with the astronomical movements of the heavens, you know, really highlighting the understanding of the heavens, really declaring the glory of the Most High. Now, what I want to do here is to make a distinction between, if you want to say, ancient Ethiopia and what is called Ethiopia in the Greek mythology. Now, many ones may not be aware of this, but the Greeks who would have referred to the land Ethiopia, and of course, this is said to be more going into Sudan. In fact, Arabia, Saudi Arabia would have made a part of this. In fact, what we call Ethiopia today, a lot of that was not even included in a specific aspect of Ethiopia according to Greek mythology. This is a very interesting thing, and we will get to that in a moment for you. Now, I want to highlight this evening the queen that would have ruled at a specific time that has now become immortalized in the heavens. We're talking about Queen Cassiope, which we call Cassiopeia in astronomy or even astrology today. Now, this is very important because I'm going to highlight to the scholars or the students tonight the balance of understanding where you draw the line between reality and mythology and these discussions that we have been having for a while. Now, before we deal with the Ethiopian King's List itself, I want to read something here for you. I want you to pay attention. This is taken from historica.fandom, and this is history or information that you would find anywhere once you seek for it. And it is speaking of Ethiopia, and this is Ethiopia with a capital A before the word Ethiopia as we know it. So it's capital A and Ethiopia, Ethiopia. Very good. Now it says here, Ethiopia was the Greek name for the upper Nile region of Sudan. The name Ethiopia means land of the burnt faces, referring to the black skin of its Nubian inhabitants. And the Greeks referred to dark-skinned peoples in general as Ethiopians, while sub-Saharan Africa was referred to as Ethiopia, in contrast to North Africa referred to as Libya. Interesting. The Ethiopians, here it is, the Ethiopians among the earliest Christians. This is Ethiopians now without the capital A. Among the early Christians claim to have traced their origins to the biblical tribe of Aram, who established the first Ethiopian dynasty in 4530 BC. The tribe of Ham was said to have ruled from 2713 to 1985 BC, while the dynasty of Solomon's son Menelik I reigned from 982 BC to 493 AD, according to a 1922 regional list of kings, or regional list of kings. And I believe he is speaking of this very same king list again that we spoke of, was given to one Charles Ray by the then Rastafari, or Emperor Haile Selassie I. Now, this goes on to say here, Aram was king from 4530 to 4470 BC. The Aram is the Ori. Ham was king from 2713 to 2635 BCE. Cush from 2635 to 2585 BCE. Electron from 2515 to 2485. Seba from 2375 to 2345. Cassiopeia. See the name they specifically, Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia, Cassiopeia, from 1890 to 1871. Cephas, and look at the great jump. Cephas from 14, jump from 18 to 14. Cephas from 1453 to 1438. Now let me just hold there for a moment. In the mythology, Cephas is the husband of Cassiopeia. In this list of kings here, Cassiopeia. Now listen to me, family. This is not necessarily, the Ethiopian kings list that we highlighted a month or so ago, and that we will be highlighting in a moment. This is somewhat of a Greek rendition of Ethiopia's legacy as far as its king and queen list. Now, this is very important, because if you were to just go and in this regular time, you go on a search engine, whether it's Google or Bing or whatever, and you were to look for Ethiopia with the A, you get a bit of problem, in a sense, sometimes you have to even stress you're looking for Greek mythology, because now, again, that is why ones would consider that it was the Greeks. Many ones would say it's the Greeks that call these people Ethiopians. Although, in strict history, there is a line between Ethiopia with that A and Ethiopia, as you know it's spelled today. And again, ones would argue the king Ethiops of Ethiopia. And then also you have ones would argue the Melchizedek line of Ethel, which is another rendition of how the name Ethiopia came about. But what I'm showing to you, family, and just observe this well, Cassiopeia, according to this, reigned from 1890 to 1871. Kephas from 1453 to 1438. Okay. Now, when we visit the Ethiopian kings list, as we know it, this is not from the Greeks now. This is Ethiopia's proper record keeping of their lineage. Whatever the Greeks did with it, although it appears similar, it is different. That is why I just explained, when you, if you are to research digitally Ethiopia, you're not going to get Ethiopia's history as such. In fact, in many cases, unless you stress or specify you are seeking Greek mythology, nothing may even appear. Try it yourself, and unless you can go directly for the manuscript or the source that you are seeking for. Very good. Now, according to the Ethiopian kings list, which we would have studied a few times just in the last 2 months or so, we have the Agdazian dynasty, or the kingdom of Joktan. And this begins with Akbunas Saba II. With who? Akbunas Saba II. And he is from 1930. Now this is interesting as well when you are looking on this vibration, you know. 1930 is the age put for him. And then you have Nakete Kalnis, and his rule is 1871. And then again, you have the mighty Queen Cassiope. Queen Cassiope. Her time is given here as 1890. Queen Cassiope. Ethiopian kings list. And her time frame again, 1890. Again, when you observe the Greeks' Ethiopian story, where they also, in a similar way, align the known Ethiopian king list to a mystic mythology that those of you who study, not just listen to a conversation and you know, just regurgitate what you may have heard, no offense, but those of you who study mythology, you would understand that is why Cassiopeia's husband could be Kephas, but yet still several centuries apart. I can show you similar things in the Bible too. Eh? In fact, we would have. We would have. Even with David and Saul, there's a whole mystery around David and Saul. It's as if David met Saul twice or at least 3 times. Eh? Man, it's deep because of the mythological aspect of it. And a person may be quick to say, oh, you're trying to say David and Saul is mythology? Cassiopeia is the wife of Kephas, right here in the Ethiopian list coming from Greek mythology. But this list was taken from a literal, real list of the kings and queens of Ethiopia. And in that real list of the kings and queens of Ethiopia, you do have Queen Cassiope. She's not the wife of Kephas in the real world, but you do have a Queen Cassiope, a mighty great warrior. Now, Kephas, according to the Greek mythology, because this is important, Kephas, the husband of Cassiopeia, they both have a daughter, Andromeda. Andromeda was held captive by Cetus, the beast, and then eventually Perseus had to come and save her. Believe it or not, this is all the Greeks putting Ethiopian history in a mythological expression. Because let me show you, Kephas now, 1453 to 1438. When we return to the Ethiopian kings list, you have a king in 1438, Seba III, his name is Kefe. Kefe, not Kephas, Kefe. But obviously it's the same person. Kefe is the Greeks' Kephas. It's just like Yehoshua is the Greeks' Jesus. That's what it is. They do it all the time. This is a pattern with the Greeks, and you can see clearly here if you take the time to study your own Ethiopian history. So again, it's a pattern, but yet still it's almost like a formula. In a sense, there's nothing wrong with it, because mythology or the mythos is a science. It's not just, oh, they stole the story and whitewash it. There's a bit of that too, but it's an art form. Mythology is an ancient African art form. That's why we said all stories belong to Anansi. We've spoken about that several times, the importance of the character known as Anansi in the mythos, as Anansi is a Christ figure that represents the Christ within all of us, the same set against Heru, but yet still the same set that defends the same Ra against Apep. This is some deep stuff. So you're seeing the same thing here, because on the ground we have Queen Cassiope, a real woman from 1890. She's not a constellation in the heavens. She's a woman that ruled Ethiopia. Then you have another great king, Seba III. He's from 1438, and he is known as Kefe. And in the Greeks mythology of Ethiopia, a land that they have, as it says here, sub-Saharan Africa, but yet still a land that they have as all of Africa as well, during a specific time of their history. And then a land that they had as Arabia and basically Egypt. This Ethiopia, Ethiopia. So again, in this Ethiopia, Kephas, which is the same 453 to 438, Kephas is the husband of Cassiopeia, centuries apart. In the Ethiopian real history, Cassiope is not obviously the husband of Sebe III, Kefe. Kefe is 438, just like Kephas, and Cassiope is 1890, just like Cassiopeia in the Greeks' rendition. It's just like King Khufu. The Greeks call Khufu Cheops. They do that. This is what the Greeks do. They just take your history and just dolly it up for you. Khafre is now called Khafre. What's Khafre's name? Chefens. I think it's Chefens. And Menkara is something else. That's what they do. So the Greeks are known for taking the African names and plus the African history and putting their own twist of mythology on it. That's why you always hear about the Greeks coming and sitting with the blameless Ethiopians and Ethiopia, the land where all the gods love to be, according to Herodotus and these fellas here. And then, of course, remember you have, even in Ethiopia, Ethiopios, which now which is, although the Greeks may have taken our name and Greekified it, then that doesn't mean the origin of the name came from them. So to say that the Greeks named Ethiopia point blank and that's it, it's unfair, because Cassiopeia is not her name, it's Cassiope. But it's obvious that they took the name Cassiope and morphed it into Cassiopeia and gave it a different identity, yet still highlighting the prowess of Cassiope. But Cassiopeia now has gone into a mythological realm, flying through the sky and on flying horses and these different things. You're going into mythology there. So at the same time now, when you observe, for example, when you read the history again of Ethiopia, it's a bit different than the history of Ethiopia itself. For example, it says here, Bible and Greek mythology, the Ethiopians claim to have colonized Egypt with the help of the god Osiris. You hear that one? The Ethiopians claim to have colonized Egypt with the help of the god Osiris, Asar. And the Ethiopians and the Egyptians colonized the Sewa oasis together. The Ethiopians came to adopt Egyptian culture and religion, especially as Egyptian dynasties occasionally conquered Egypt. And so it clearly shows Ethiopia was ruled by King Kephas, father of Andromeda, which again is the daughter of Cassiopeia. And then also, you know, of King Memnon. All of these, Memnon, although this is saying that he's a vassal of the Pharaoh Ramesses II, many believe that Memnon is the same, Ramesses the third, pardon me. Many believe Memnon is the same Ramesses. Ursema Atra, Setepen Ra, Ramesu, Mari, Amun. Again, but you can't doubt that, because it's the Greeks now who created the Memnon and created the Kephas, but yet from real characters, you know, Kefe. And Kefe was a great king, just like how they want to make Kephas look. You see, the work that Kefe would have done, you could use a term like it would have married the work that Cassiope would have done. So in the mythology aspect of it now, it looks like Kefe and Cassiope, or Kephas and Cassiopa, or Cassiopeia, are husband and wives. You know, that's how it's expressed in the mythology that the Greeks robbed from ancient Africa. You understand? So you go to school and you study Shakespeare and you study theater and you study Greek mythology, and this is what you get. But you study not the ancient right history of Ethiopia to understand where it all fits in. So this is how you decode it. So Cafe is Kephas, and Cassiope, a real queen, is Cassiopeia in the mythology. And I will repeat, just like Khufu is Cheops, and Khafre is Shefen, you know. And I also saw, or Yeshua, I should say, is Jesus. And that is why you have a good argument when one will say, oh, they just make up Jesus. Again, mythology that has been formed from something literal, actual history, same old story. That's what the Greeks are known for doing. And that's why we can bring credible evidence and put it right in front of you. You know, so this is why, you know, you'd hear the brothers saying about the different, I think the word is Tariq, history. You hear brother Ras I Adonis say it. You hear brother Isern speak about it. The two different types of history. You know, and if you don't check yourself, you'll be reading the Ethiopian history as the history or the Greek, the king's list from the Ethiopian story, and telling people about Andromeda and Perseus coming to save her from the dragon as Ethiopian history. Some say it's Ethiopian mythology, but really it's Greek mythology trying to describe an Ethiopian dynamic. Now, so with all of that in mind, and even all of that said, let us look at the whole aspect of, because when it comes to the Kephas now, remember Kephas is very important. We're talking about our brother here, our good brother Dr. Charles Finch. Dr. Charles Finch, we would have done programs highlighting his works, and I think he really, more than anyone, is the outstanding individual that highlights the coming of the cosmic Ethiopian king. You remember those programs, and family? Yeah, man, you have to remember those programs. The highlighting of the constellation Kephas, because now the whole thing that we just described a while ago is seen in the heavens, the whole play. You have Kephas, you have Andromeda, you have Cassiopeia, and you also have Perseus. All of these characters are in the heavens. Basically, if you want to say, fulfilling this prophecy and history here, or the mythology. But now the reality again is that the heavens declare. The Greeks didn't put nothing in the heavens. The Greeks didn't put no stars up there. It is the ancient Ethiopians, the ancient ones Kemeteyu, which would have described to them what is taking place in the heavens. Very good. All right. Let me just highlight for you exactly where these constellations are. So this is the star Polaris. Of course, you know, in the heavens, the star Polaris represents the northern celestial pole. And Kephas is one of those circumpolar stars. And then, of course, Cassiopeia represents his wife, and Cassiopeia is seen as a W. And then you have Andromeda. One of the outstanding things about Andromeda is that Andromeda itself, as a constellation, also has within her the very bright, outstanding galaxy, M31, which is the Andromeda galaxy. So you have Cassiopeia in the form of a W right next to Kephas. This is in the heavens. And the vibration with Kephas is that in a few hundred years, Kephas will become the constellation closest to the northern celestial pole. Now, this is very, very important, you know, because Kephas now, the star Irae, I would have pronounced it as, is going to be the closest star to the northern celestial pole in a couple hundred years, if you do your mathematics. Now, according to Dr. Charles Finch, he is saying that is ushering in the age of the celestial Ethiopian king. Now, I am saying, because according to the good brother Dr. Finch, there are 3 things that would have taken place in relatively recent time that would highlight the coming in of the celestial Ethiopian king. Now, one of these things would have been the coronation of Emperor Haile Selassie I. The other event would have been the Million Man March, and then the other event would have been the presidency of Barack Obama. And according to our esteemed elder, Dr. Charles Finch, these 3 events are symbolic of Kephas going into the North Pole to become that celestial Ethiopian king. And according to him, Kephas will be making that move maybe in the next 50 or 60 years, something like that. No offense to the good Dr. Charles Finch. I love him with all my heart. But sometimes when we speak 50 and 60 years when it comes to astronomy, I wonder if we understand the subject properly. Cephas has already started to go into that zone. And Haile Selassie's coronation, I wouldn't even stay too long on that, represents Cephas going into the celestial northern pole area. Not Barack Obama's presidency, and with all due respect to Minister Louis Farrakhan, not even a Million Man March. We're talking about the coronation of Negus and Nagas. I'm talking about in 1930, just as Dr. Charles Finch rightly says, represents the new age of the celestial Ethiopian king, as Cephas, will be taking over the North Star position. Now, that in itself going to take a long time. That in itself might take a whole 1,000 years before you can see Cephas star specifically in the center or very close to the center of the celestial pole itself. So we're looking at the next 1,000 or 1,500 years before Polaris is totally outside of the northern celestial pole, and Cephas is closer, right under it. Next 1,500, 1,300 years, the most. But we are already in that zone, because astronomically, any movement like that, the energy would have begun already. That's why I'm saying, even in that time, that's the time. You can't compare this to the Aquarius age neither. And the Aquarius age is going to start next week. That's impossible. It doesn't go like that at all. And it wasn't the Aquarius age when you were small, but now you're bigger. It's the Aquarius age. Nothing goes up. Impossible. That's not how the heavens move, family. This is a very, very slow, precise movement. Hardly anything is done in anybody's lifetime when it comes to the movements of the heavens. No drastic change, like a change of an age literally happened in your lifetime and your generation. No way. When the sun moves 1 degree every 72 years, that's what I'm talking about. So Cephas, the Ethiopian king, which is really Kafe, which was a great king, is immortalized in the heavens. And Kafe will one day be, Sabbath the 30, will one day be touching the celestial northern pole as the literal celestial constellation of the northern power, and as well its star. And this is the house of Anpu. Yes, the northern house of Anubis, the celestial north pole. So this is some deep vibration, family. And this is why we always say, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, it's all understanding. Because again, you can confuse the Greek mythology and Homer and the Iliad and Troy and the Trojan War. A lot of things that are just myth and make-up story, which are mixed up with Ethiopia itself. Now you see it here, the name Ethiopia derived from King Ethiops the First. You understand? But yet still, Ethiops the First is seen in the credible kings list. You have Ethiops the Second there and the first somewhere around here. But the point is that the name Ethiops is seen as a credible name within the kings list itself. So just to say that the Greeks made up the name Ethiopia, we have to be careful how we say that, because they took it, obviously, from an ancient Ethiopian king. Maybe the kingdom wasn't called Ethiopia at the time, but it is his name that was used to morph into that name. Cassiope, again, is Cassiopeia. And Kefe is Cephas. But yet still Kefe is not the husband of Cassiopeia or Cassiope, as they are hundreds of years apart. But the mythology has brought them together. The mythology has given them a daughter as well, where the daughter could also represent Ethiopia. That's why in the Bible, the woman that was to bring forth a man-child, the woman herself is Ethiopia, bringing forth a ruler. So even Andromeda, which of course is the mother of that great galaxy, it represents a whole world. And of course, Khafre's rule was very symbolic and very pivotal and Cassiopei's rule was very symbolic, pivotal, 400 years apart from each other, but yet still they made a certain bridge that brought Ethiopia to a certain level of civilization and prominence during their time, so the Greeks understood that to that degree, and still they learned that from us, obviously, and would have immortalized that in that mythology where you see these two great rulers being married and producing a daughter that was under siege, that was saved by another king. This is deep. So this is why I encourage my listeners, those who are serious about knowledge, don't get caught up in the emotional expression, especially when it comes to social media and YouTube platform and jumping in the chat. Remember, this is a college here. This is the no guessing zone, When you hear me coming, this is the no guessing zone. I don't come and talk about things I guessing, and I'm not too sure. I may have a point here or there that I may need someone to assist me in clarifying the point. But the subject in general, no man, we come with what we know, what we're talking about. And again, this sort of conversation here, the arena that we are in now. Remember, the scripture speaks about it's good when you have knowledge, but it's better to have understanding. So a lot of ones can have knowledge, even in all what we're talking about here. But do we comprehend how to fit it together so we don't fall off track? Hey, family, give thanks for your presence with us, life giver and the keeper of life. This is why we always say, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, astronomy as well, and mythology, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. And of course, it takes some real eyes to realize the real lies that are amongst us. Give thanks for your presence, family. Remember to visit the website, priestisaacinstitute.com, and get a copy of the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel. Give thanks. Blessed love.
Prosperity is a herbal remedy that has been naturally designed to nourish the prostate gland. Prosperity uses a combination of leaves, roots, and barks to create a tincture designed to nourish your prostate gland. It also will assist in prostate-related issues such as erectile dysfunction, swollen prostates, and problems related to the passage of urine. Call or WhatsApp 728-8289, 728-8289 and get your bottle today. Prosperity.